I just feel like it's gonna be JJ at this point. I mean, if there's smoke, there's fire, and I just think that the more they talk about it, I'm sure they're in negotiations, and I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be covering the finals too. So I don't know if he'll like wait until after the finals are over, but I just think it's like behind closed doors. I think it's a done deal. I think that's why you're starting to hear like who he would allegedly have on his coaching staff as far as assistant coaches like Rondo. Um, so I do think it's an interesting hire just because he's a young guy, fresh out, maybe a couple years out of the NBA. I mean, of course, he does a great job on like the old man and the three, and then of course now with him and LeBron's podcast. So you know he knows how to break down film and he knows what he's talking about. Um, he's one of the more well versed analysts of basketball out there. So he has that going for him. But then it's a different, it's different from watching film to then going to coach a game and then having to make these split decisions like in the moment. So at this point, I don't think it really matters who the Lakers hire. I mean, Brown's going to be here for like another couple years, and then that's it. I mean, it feels like this is more of something like it's someone who's cool with Brown, and that'll help him make a better decision in free agency. Although I'd love for Brown to just play out free agency, meet with teams, and figure it out like that. But I think this is all posturing, and he's going to be back with the Lakers. So
Yeah, I think it's a leverage move.
yeah,
Hey, Greg, before you talk about the coaching candidacy, do you think that Braun has been put at a disadvantage in his career with some of the coaches that he's had? It's not like MJ where he had Phil Jackson for a nice chunk of his career and Kobe that had Phil Jackson that had for a bunch of his career. The Celtics when they had Bill Russell, Doc Rivers the one year that they won. LeBron's career, his coaches on the list of coaches he's had: Paul Silas, Brendan Malone, Mike Brown. That's the first stint with the Cavs. The Heat, he had Spo. Then when he went back to the Cavs, David Blatt, Ty Lue. Lakers, it's been Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham. And looking at the list of coaches, Spo and Ty Lue, top of the top. Everybody else, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the story of his career is that he's done more with less than any other superstar or all-time great player ever, and that's really the story of his greatness is that he's taken scraps. No offense to the guys that we're talking about, feels crazy to say that, but he's taken scraps and he's made lemonade. He's taken lemons and made lemonade, and he's done it his entire career. So yeah, I think there's definitely something to that. He didn't go into a ready-made situation to win in Cleveland, and it's been the case throughout his career. He didn't do that when he went to LA and they got AD and things changed. But the David Blatt situation, right? He made a finals run with David Blatt. And I believe in 2015 he was coaching that team, and that was the year that if Kyrie and if Kevin Love don't get hurt, right, that they're winning a championship. They're winning a championship that year. And I firmly believe that LeBron would have 5 rings if not for those 2 injuries to Kevin Love and Kyrie in 2015. So I think that's very fair to say. I think that he gets a lot of blame for like, oh yeah, well, we're not naive. We know he's picking the coach. We know he's this, he's that. I don't know, man. I mean, yes, he has throughout his career. There's no doubt about it. He has had his hand in things. He had his hand in the Russell Westbrook situation. That's been proven. We know that was a mistake. If I knew LeBron, if he needed to hire me, I'd have told him, yo, chill, man. Don't bring that guy. Don't bring him here. Don't do that. But in all seriousness, I think he's done a lot to kind of separate himself from the JJ Redick rumors recently that's coming out. And I do think that with the Lakers, this is different than what has been throughout his career. I don't think that the Lakers have just listened to everything LeBron has said blindly. I think you're fooling yourself if that's the case. The Lakers are a made brand. They don't need LeBron James. That's not the way they don't feel that way. And they're right. They don't need LeBron James to be the brand that they are. Kobe and Magic and Kareem, and Shaq, they built that house already. It's been built. The foundation's there. They've built it. So They don't need LeBron, to necessarily prop forward what they've got going on. LeBron has saved them from some pretty dark days before he got there. It was pretty bad, but he wanted Ty Lue. They were in negotiations with Ty Lue. Ty Lue wanted more money. They said no. They're like, we don't need you. We're good. We're good. And we'd be having a different conversation right now if Ty Lue was the coach of this team. I think we can all say that pretty comfortably.